Hello, and welcome to Mr. Brasser's Classroom. I'm Dave Brasser. I currently teach Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 2, and Trigonometry and Precalculus. This is my 11th school year here at West Michigan Aviation Academy, so I've been here since day one, so I've been here for a good amount of time. I just recently got married. I got married this past July to my lovely wife. Some of you may know her if you have some students that have been here in the past. She was the teacher. Her name was Miss O'Brien. Now her name is Mrs. Brasser. But we got married this past July, and we've been enjoying this honeymoon phase for the past 2-ish months or so, even though didn't get to have like an official honeymoon this year with everything going on. But yeah, this is my 11th year here. I used to teach physics as well. I graduated from Calvin College, now Calvin University, back in 2010, so I've been here for a good amount of time since then. But yeah, let's take a look at some specifics for your class. As you probably already know, Llama is switching over to Canvas this year instead of things like Google Classroom, and Algebra 2 Honors class is no different. So this is what it's going to look like when students first go into the Honors Algebra 2 Canvas page. You'll see it's not super visually interesting yet. I'm hoping some students can help me jazz this up because I'm really not that artistically gifted. So I'm hoping some students can help me with that. But you'll see it's got some important information here, like it's got my email address, it's got a link to PowerSchool, it's also got modules and syllabus links, but again, you can always find those on the side here. Down here, this is probably where you as parents are probably going to be more interested. This is our week in preview. So the first 2 weeks, we're in the middle of week 2 right now, so down here. The first 2 weeks is just kind of getting in the flow of things, helping students get used to Canvas. So you see on day 1, now I've got 2 different classes of Honors Algebra 2, and they're on 2 different days. So my third hour class, my apologies, met on Monday, whereas my 6th hour class meets on Tuesdays. So it met on Tuesday for that week. So always have your students pay attention to, and I'll probably add this, that this is for third hour, and this is for my 6th hour. But if they're an A-day student, that means we're doing this on Monday, and if they're a B-day student, that means that they were doing it on Tuesday. So we did an intro, we did a welcome to Canvas, we made sure we got our virtual lockers done, and you can see the tasks here, including assignments, are going to be off to the left. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, and you have a student in my third hour class, well, this is what they did on Tuesday. We wrapped up section 1.1, and we also did all of section 1.2. Now, if you are a 6th hour parent, that's what we did today on Wednesday. Now, for next time, I want students to complete the 1.1 homework and the 1.2 homework. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not too terribly bad. And then this thing called the 1.2 homework check, and that's something I'm going to go through with students, or I probably actually went through with students today. Then you'll see day 4, which is Thursday for my third hour class, and Friday for my 6th hour class. We're going to review section 1.1 and 1.2, and then we're also going to have a quiz. Now, if the students click on that quiz, they're not going to be able to see it yet because I don't want them to take it ahead of time and have all that information so they know what to study for. But they'll be able to see that once we get to that day. So the main place that students are going to be looking is this place called Modules. So if I click on Modules, it'll give everything in kind of a nice, orderly fashion. So you'll see we've got a design your locker activity. That's what we did last week. And then what do you hope to achieve? Down here, this is where we actually started getting to the math content. So if you click on 1.1 parent functions, you'll see it's got some information here. So it's got some objectives, or I often call them goals for the day. Now, our goals were identify or learn about the graphs of parent functions, the names, and how to identify them. Down here is where students can download their notes. So I'm going to have to switch back to the teacher mode. My apologies. Let me switch back to the teacher mode because since I'm a pretend student, it doesn't let me see everything right off the bat. So if I go to 1.1 parent functions and I click on open up the blank notes, you'll see there's a copy of the blank notes here. Now, it's kind of clunky because if students want to edit this, they have to open it up in a pop-out window. Don't ask me why Google has them do that, but that's the way it is. So this is where they can download the notes to their drive or their computer. But one thing I'm going to encourage students to use is click on this open with. Now, they can add whatever apps they want to here. Well, not whatever apps, but there's a couple of good ones. I'm going to use Kami. This is one that I know a lot of students have used in the past, and this is one thing I'm going to encourage my students to use this year too. So if you open it with Kami, it's going to take that PDF that I shared, and it's going to make it something that they can draw on so they can actually do their math. Now, I'm going to be doing this with a mouse, so it's not going to look as pretty as they would be on their touchscreens, but if they're using a school-provided touchscreen, this will work out pretty easily. Or a school-provided Chromebook with a touchscreen. Sorry, I'll keep stalling as this keeps up or opening up. But this is an app that I've had students use in the past. It works out pretty well. It's a nice replacement instead of having to do papers for everything, and it makes it so that you don't lose things as easily. So what students can do, if they click on, let me close this, if they click on drawing, they can draw whatever they want on here. They can write their notes. Now again, I'm using a mouse, so it's not going to be the easiest to write things down here. But when students are working with this, they'll be able to use the touchscreen. So it's going to be like as if they're writing. Now they also have a shape option here. So like say, for example, I want to draw a line like on this linear graph here. It works out really nicely. Now I'm going to erase this just because I don't want it to save in the student copy. But they'll be able to save this in Google Drive and keep it there for as long as they need. And that way they don't have to have paper with them at all times. They'll also be able to do that similarly in our assignments. So for example, if we go to the 1.1 assignment, it will open up what the worksheet looks like. Now on this worksheet, again, this time it'll open it up in the window, but they'll still want to open it up as a pop-out so that they can download it, open it up in Kami, or another good option is an app called DocHub that I've shown to a couple students. But Kami, I would say, is probably the easiest and go-to so far. But once students have done this, they're going to be able to hit a submit button. Now, I as a teacher don't have that submit button. And even as my pretend student, I don't have that submit button. It's kind of clunky. But this is something we're just kind of getting used to. But students will be able to do all their notes and all their assignments on Canvas and submit it there as well. Which is really nice because that way, if they end up missing a class, they can still turn in their assignment. Also, if for some reason we have to go fully virtual, everything's right here. They won't need to come into school to grab paper copies of everything. Let me go back to the modules because I realized there was one thing that I skipped. But in parent functions, or in any of the notes, you'll notice there are videos. Now, Mrs. Walker also teaches Algebra 2. So I teach Honors Algebra 2 and Regular Algebra 2. Mrs. Walker teaches Regular Algebra 2. Right now, everything's kind of overlapping. So right now we're sharing some videos just so that way we can get a hang of things. But let me show you some videos, let me show you some videos that I've made for the next section, the 1.2. We make these videos so that students can access them if they have questions or if they just want to hear things again or if for some reason they have to miss class. So let me just start this 1.2, part 1. You'll notice this video is about 10 minutes long.
Alrighty, folks. Section 1.
Now the nice thing about this is, well, they can always mute me, or they can play me full blast if they're having a hard time sleeping. But if I'm going too slowly for them, if they click on this gear icon, they can go to playback speed and they can change it to 1.25. Or if they want, let me change that again. They can go to double speed, and if they hear me talk,
definition heavy. So bear with me, we're gonna get through together. The first part.
I sound a little more like a chipmunk, but if I'm going too fast, they can also slow me down and go to playback speed and maybe go to 0.75.
Definition number 1, end behavior.
A little more slowly. So these are good options if students just want to kind of a refresher, because they do have options. Like I do have a filled in copy of our notes as well. But sometimes it's just nice to hear me go through it again. Not just because it's me talking, but it's just sometimes nice to hear the information again. So that's a nice resource for students. Let me go back to the student view. And let me show you a couple other things that students might want to access. Grades. Grades are always important. So the students can check their grades here. Now, this is the test student. Again, that's why I couldn't access everything. But this test student hasn't turned anything in. Now, hopefully your student has already turned in the Design Your Locker and What Do You Hope to Achieve. And if they have, hopefully they already have a grade for both of these. I'm recording this before Wednesday. So by Wednesday, hopefully they'll have turned this in and have this Design Your Locker. But say a test student doesn't have it turned in. They're like, oh, nuts, I need to go turn that in. What they can do is click on it, and then they can submit it right in here. Now, again, since this is a test student, I don't have all the available options that a normal student would, but they would have an option to submit their assignment here. So it's just kind of a nice way to check out what they're doing grade-wise. But one thing I would like to say, so we just started syncing this with PowerSchool, and so any assignment grade that I enter here should also synchronize with PowerSchool. PowerSchool overall will be your final place to check grades. That's where all the grades are like quote-unquote official. This should match as well, but PowerSchool should be the official grades. So that's a brief overview of our class. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at dbrasser@westmichigan.aviation.org. I'm typically on there until at least 3:30 every day, usually a little bit after that. But you can also feel free to email me over the weekends. I might not have a chance to get to it until Monday morning. Thank you and have a great day.